this before. It's called a tragedy. This is because these books are bad. These books are really, really bad.
They're worse than that, aren't
If these books were films, Ed Wood would be ashamed of them.
Did you want
And we are going to read them to you until you pay us to stop.
I'd say if these books were films, they're like M.I. Shyamalan bad.
Nicolas Cage would refuse to appear in that fact.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And Michael Bay.
The Church of Scientology would use them to, you know, in their anything goes campaigns. The rules of the game are quite simple.
There's not much of your choice.
There are two methods. You can either pay for a book to be read, or pay for a book not to be read. And it's a bidding war.
Because some people are sick and they actually like these books.
Well, I'd like to see you score.
Well, yeah.
I'm talking about sick people. Hello, Barry. Oh, look what I've got. A whole fistful of Diane Smith.
Oh, you've got crabs.
Oh, yes.
And that's
frangibles.
There's a lotion for it.
Some bottle wasn't actually Diane Smith. It's the Diane Smith book that isn't by Diane Smith.
oops, it just looks like Diane
I
Smith.
need to start.
Okay. So I think we'll start you off with something nice and easy from Chris. And those of you who've been here before will remember this book. Those of you who haven't will have it scarred into your brain permanently. Hook, the Bust of Man. This was printed in 1974, so you know what sort of science fiction you're going to get here.
Oh dear.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Because you won't be comfortable for long. Okay. Chapter 1. Ryder Hook jumped the last 3 treads of the mobile pedway from space shuttle to concrete. He was on planet again. He owned the dunnage filled with costly clothes and the trivia of the wealthy. His money belt bulged with metal, and a Delling snout to his right wrist.
Oh,
Already?
already just talking. I'll put in 10p to continue. I mean, come on.
I'll give you 20p for a different passage.
What? There's different passages?
I'm sure there's other gospels in that book.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't even got to the horror of what's at the spaceport.
Are we carrying on? We're carrying on.
Carrying on, yeah.
Carry on. It's going to be carry on.
I do believe Dave wants me to read something that isn't the initial page for a change.
Oh, but it's so good. Oh, we have newbies here who haven't ever been exposed to the oozing eyeball.
Oh well. Have we tantalised you enough yet?
So is that a bid to hear what the using is?
Yes.
What are you bidding?
5p.
Yes, great. Thank you very much.
Well, I can take me for something else, but I'm
Who
sure it
is
can be
bidding
out
more
there.
to carry on with that then?
20p to carry on with that bit.
Okay.
They're undefeated.
I'm sure you'll get your moment. You always do.
More to carry on? Yeah. Yes, I think we're now...
We are carrying on from where I was. Okay.
Fine. That's 90p to carry on.
A Delling snugs to his right wrist, and he meant to enjoy himself, or know the reason why. A shocked, incoherent screaming ripped apart the warm afternoon air of Mergon. Over the heads of the passengers in front, all abruptly stopped in their tracks. Hook saw a boil of a man and woman, and aliens erupt from the customs house door. The passengers shrieked and began a frightening struggle to regain the pedway and the shuttle. Hook stared past them.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Excusing you.
Let's just...
People paid for oozing, come on.
copper stuff.
Yes. Well, even I didn't bring the fistfuls of copper I normally do. Right.
I'll give you 20p if he reads it in the style of a smart-ass American sci-fi writer who actually thinks his stuff is actually good.
That's incredibly specific.
I think you mean Sherry.
Yes. Oh, William Shatner.
Oh,
Ooh.
God. Oh,
In the style of William Shatner.
Oh, I'll throw a pound in for Chris to have to read it in the style of William Shatner. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We have that. 20.
So I'm going to read this now in the style of William Shatner. You may remember him from such work as James, Tiberius, Kirk.
You know, it's the rusty motorbike sort of style.
Sort of stop,
Jim.
start, and God damn it, Jim! Get on this road. No, that's bones. Hook stared past them at the violent, fear-crazed mob, dashing madly across the continental walls.
That's actually quite good, yeah.
These people had been made hideous. Fungoid growths dripping from their faces and naked bodies, where they had ripped the clothing away in agony. They oozed.
20p to stop, I know what the using was.
20p to stop and you want to carry on? 25 to carry on. 25 to carry on?
It gets worse.
25 to stop.
Ah, we're even.
Ooh.
Another 10 to
No,
carry on.
that means you have to read every other word.
And carry on, and was it?
25 people stop, 25 people carry on.
I'll put it in
Read half the words.
I assume as carrying on, this is carry on as William Shatner.
Yes. I think carry on. We'll save
Lovely.
the really nice carry on film for later. Yeah.
Oh my!
Not when I'm drinking.
Frying tonight, Robert Easy!
Move that chair just back a wee bit.
This right.
Yes. That's okay.
They oozed. They kept a shrill, undulating scream. Hook saw a man with one eye dangling on a long white thread. And as the man ran over to, so the other eye oozed from its socket to swing and sway about his knees. The man fell and was instantly trampled down.
25 feet to stop.
We have 25 to stop.
And now for our surprise celebrity guest. I think the moment the stops happening.
Yes, the stops have it.
And there is more where that came from.
Oh, good God.
With
Ever eight.
five bendy British pounds for Pat to read from this book
Yes.
in the style of Dr. What from Carry On Screaming. Kenneth Williams. Come on.
Is £5 enough, or do we want more?
We want more. We want more.
Another pound for Pat to do it.
I don't know.
Just improvise back.
The swordsman of Mars.
Oh, great.
Oh, yes.
Any more?
Yes,
The brandy balloon's getting full.
that's the other way.
Oh dear. 35 you got there. That's kind of cool. That will do nicely.
Just a facial expression.
24 looked out through the leafy screen that camouflaged the door of Thane's island home. He saw that a warrior in the uniform of an officer of the commune had dismounted in the clearing. The fellow shadow was leaning his guard beneath the branches of a large, spreading tree, with a bird beast would be concealed from observers flying overhead. The newcomer walked with a peculiar gait. The rolling gait of a man whose legs are abnormally short in proportion to most of his body. It's you'll do! Thorne exclaimed in a Scottish accent for some reason. Keeping cautiously beneath the trees which fringed the clearing, we all like a clearing with a fringe around it. You'll do circled towards, he's still Scottish, circled towards the house. A few moments later, he entered the opening within the screen. To Thorne, he rendered the usual salutation. But to Thane, the royal salute.
Yes, your reverence.
This surprised the Earthman until he remembered that she was a she. This surprised the Earthman until he remembered that she was the daughter of Miradon Vil, and therefore entitled to the homage due a princess. I have news, momentous news, said Yoldu as he entered the hut. Have you news of my father? It is a woman, isn't it? Thane asked anxiously. Ill news, he replied. His Majesty is in the clutches of Selhan, who has imprisoned him in Castle Takor. We must find a sorry, it's Orban again. No, Thorne, that's the word. We must find a way to rescue him, exclaimed Thorne. Wait, I have not told you all, Yoldu said. Perhaps I had best begin at the beginning.
No.
At least we didn't break into song. Not yet.
There's still time.
After I was netted by Selhan's Magongi, they searched a while for you, my lord, but at last they gave up the chance and flew with me to Castle Takor. I found the castle garrisoned entirely by Magongi, with Sir Det and a few of his cronies in command. Sir Det had been rescued from the prison pen by Selhan.
Don't worry, we're as lost as you are.
It seems that some time ago the yellow scientists rediscovered how to generate the deadly green ray. Blue sky thinking, I assume.
This is what purple throws.
Used in warfare by their ancestors. Since then, they have been building large ray projectors. I know large ray, he's a lovely guy. Not as yet being able to manufacture a small hand projectors. Not enough for efficient use. Well, it's a gold problem, isn't it?
You can get tablets for it nowadays.
With 4 of these projectors and an army of Magongi mounted on Gars, Selhan yesterday flew to Dakor. How he got them through transport security, I'll never know. Overawed the army and the people with the weapons he had brought with him and took over the government. He captured all the high officers of the Kamud, and it is said that he intends to proclaim himself Vil of Zanzibar in a day or 2. That's
Is
Zanzibar
that
the
Vil-
next, not Zanzibar the next, because Zanzibar the next goes, no.
Zanzibar in a day or 2, or
In a day
Zanzibar.
or, in a day or.
So there was no stand on Zanzibar.
No stand on Zanzibar.
These officers, among whom are Kolf Lutas and Lau Vak, is this the right way up? Together with the Dickstar and his daughter Neville, were sent to Castle Takor, where they are now prisoners guarded by the Magongi warriors. Miradon Vil, who had previously been captured by Selhan's Magongi scouts, as you'll remember, was at first held in the secret camp where they were making the ray projectors. But as soon as the government had been overthrown, Salhan ordered him brought to Castle Takor, where he could be guarded with the other important prisoners. What point? I'm making notes, I hope, about
There'll be a test later.
plot point. Sir Det ordered him imprisoned in a room in one of the towers to wait the arrival of Salhan. Oh, Salhan, yes. Who could then decide what my fate should be. But unfortunately for his plans, he had put me in a room where there was a hidden panel. Which communicated with a secret passageway that led to the underground cellars. I like an underground cellar myself. I can't be done with these new attic cellars. And thence out under the docks. You've been under the docks, haven't you, for a while?
As opposed to under the boardwalk.
I lost no time in making use of this means of escape. Once I decided it wasn't an incredibly contrived plot point. And ran into one of Salham's officers. I caught him by the...
20 meters stop!
You don't want to know what he's been caught by?
Yes,
We can guess. I'm sure.
£1.50.
Well, we've got £1.50 to find out.
Well, let's hear what the next word
We
is.
have £1.45
£1.50 to hear the next word.
to stop.
150 to hear with the next word.
Just the next word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to the
Just what the next word is.
£1.55 to stop.
Renton wants us to stop. She just wants to hear the next word. For £1.50.
Okay.
We'll take the money. £1.50 just to hear the next word.
Yeah, so just the rest of that sentence, just in case it's taken one word.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the rest of the sentence?
Yeah.
It's got hung in it.
That's all for doesn't know how to use it.
I'll just take a step back and run up it again. I caught him by the throat before he could make a sound, and hung on until he ceased to breathe. We've all been there.
Okay.
Throat, salt and sausage at the top.
And that's the end of that sentence. That's the end of the minute.
So now we know.
Fiona, do we want to hear a really broad Australian accented reading?
Oh,
I have a very broad accented person here who would be prepared to do it.
I think we could do that.
Fair dinkum.
This is.
Oh no.
What's your favourite hobby sport?
65. Hear the Australian accent.
Yeah.
Starts off
Another 20p for the Australian.
Now, believe it or not, Professor A.M. Lowe was the president of the British Interplanetary Society. You will really find this hard to believe that a man who in theory knew something about planets in general. Right. Now, this is halfway through the book are three schoolboy heroes who have accidentally fallen into his ether ship and set off into the ether. I'm kidding you not, that's what they set off into.
Ethan, that's or something else.
This is chapter 6, Mars Sense Dead Ship. Now, there is one tiny addendum to this. You have to read the punctuation. This is chapter 6, Mars.
You want
From, well, you don't have to do the chords, but the dots.
Dorothy.
She will not come and save us.
And you're certainly not in Kansas anymore. She's leaving.
Right.
Sure, she's not left place.
Listen, cried Victor quickly. I can't see anything, but perhaps the Martians are sending out images by some means to frighten us. Maybe Philip is the only one who can see them because his mind is ... Victor paused uncertainly. ... Is perhaps tuned to them. Do you see what I mean? It actually says dear. ... Our minds, Peter, may not be in the same tuning scale, and so we can't see these things, comma, quote marks, concluded the young man. Maybe you're right, Victor, answered Peter. Too deep for me. Too deep for me. As a matter of fact, Victor was italics, right? The idea was to fill the cabin with evil-looking images that would so terrify the Earth occupants of the ship that the italics Aeronauticus would be turned and steered away from their planet. But the scheme did not seem to be a great success. Only Philip could see this ghastly capital imagery of capital evil. Full story. Wonder what they'll do next, said Victor. I wish we had the radio set so that we could hear what they were up to. It had to be smashed, returned Peter. And a good job too, if you ask me. But I wonder if that blue... I wonder if that blue box is another set. What blue box? Demanded Victor.
It came out of nowhere.
Why, that one you've been sitting on for the last half hour?
Did you notice the flashing light?
And that's what happens when the doctor misplaces his spectacles.
Victor stood up and looked down at the box upon which he had carelessly seated himself. Let's have a look, he said. And while Peter and Victor went down on their knees... Hey! Do I hear a bit to carry on?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do we have a bit to carry on?
50 feet to carry on.
50 feet to carry on? Yeah.
Ross, we've got another pound over here as well.
Yeah.
20 feet to carry on?
20 more.
Yeah. More carry on. Yeah.
Another 20 to carry on.
While Peter and Victor went down on their knees to examine the box, Philip kept closing his eyes as though to shut out the dreadful images which were leering at him.
That is a terrifying leer.
The strange blue box seemed to have no lock, but it defied the efforts of the two companions to open it. Crikey! Does it say anything about it in the professor's notes? Asked Victor. I don't remember it, was Peter's answer, but I'll have another look. Still keeping an eye on Philip, Peter turned over the pages of the professor's book of notes. He found no reference to a blue box. Well, obviously it's because it's a doctor. He was about to close the book when his gaze fell upon the page in which the professor had referred to radio. Two words in the professor's scrawling handwriting had arrested Peter's attention. They were the words, radio sets.
And 10 marks for the spot being obvious.
I think because it's referring to the radio, is that right?
Yeah, yeah. That's funny.
The university educations are paying for themselves right now.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
That apparently meant...
He didn't get a PhD because he's only a professor, not a doctor.
True.
Oh, it's the other way around. Very hard to get to be a professor without having got a doctorate.
He probably got his doctor on the side of a packet of cornflakes anyway.
I would like to have a PhD because, in 10 words or fewer, free package.
And £500.
Do we want to know what the mystery of the radio sets is?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
That apparently meant that there was more than one set.
Oh my God, it was plural.
Yes, there's a cutting S at the end of that word, which gives it all away.
For those grammatically challenged amongst you.
Do draw your attention to the word apparently. He's not quite sure. Where, comma, then, comma, was the other? And he's assuming that there's only one other, of course. Peter read on eagerly and found 2 references to, quote, an emergency set, unquote. But no information was given as to where it was located in the ship. This may be the emergency set.
An emergency rocket.
Well, you don't know where the emergency is going to be ahead of time, do you?
You've got to be flexible about these things.
It's like preparing for the unexpected.
So the emergency locker is somewhere safe, you know, at the back of his house or something.
Please carry on.
This may be the emergency set, said Victor eagerly. Let's have another go at it. Together they tried to lift the lid again, but failed to do so. Then Peter suddenly exclaimed, "Bugger, what fools we are! Look, the lid slides off."
At this point in time, you're probably imagining one of those old-fashioned cartoons where you've got the 3 doors and one says lift, and you have to move it up.
That's where he found these 3 idiots.
They found his ship and like accidentally stole it.
And then managed to get one foot in front of the other.
That's when they stumbled upon his ship.
You see?
Sorry, sliding the big blue box.
Peter pushed the lid off and revealed the controls of a radio set. This, comma, then, comma,
What a surprise.
was the emergency radio equipment to which the professor referred.
So they've been sat on it the whole time.
And it probably had a big lettering saying radio set. Emergency only.
So presumably one of them now has radio set emergency.
On his arse.
Yes, reverse them.
It's
Just don't go there.
Why have you got a text Orion?
It seemed smaller and had different controls, but Victor, comma, with his intimate knowledge of radio,
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
very intimate.
So this blue box is smaller on the inside.
Intimate knowledge of radio, was soon able to get some, quote, life, quote, from the set. A distinct hum emanated from the set. As he tuned in, and presently the sounds of speech came through. Then, comma, with a finer tuning, comma, a voice thundered out of the speaker.
Oh,
It was the
welcome to
voice
Radio
of
Mark.
3 space travelers. It was the voice of 3 space travelers had previously heard bawling out its orders of attack. Withdraw the force waves! Only one of the Earth people is being affected. Send up the ship of death.
20 feet to stop.
20 feet to stop.
20 feet to stop.
The ship of slightly
We have
more
22 feet to stop. Any more?
It's the
Yeah,
opposite of a
that's not 20
lifeboat.
feet to stop.
Hands up those of you who put money forward to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop. Okay.
I have in my hand Vienna Richmond's Galactic Girl, which of course those of you who've been here before know that this is a bit of a saucy piece. Now, there was some talk yesterday about reading some books in some silly voices. And when we were selecting the books earlier on, I did come across the idea that I could read this in the style of Dr. Evil. But throw me a freaking bone, I'm not going to do this for free. I need $1 billion, or just 10p from every person.
I'll give you
10p.
I'll give you 20.
£1 to sing it.
Sing it! No, 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 no.
I found it for Dr. Evil.
10p. 10p.
Come on, here's some
Dr.
Dr.
Evil.
Evil. Not all of your money because we're still
Dr. Evil. Any more to hear it as Dr. Evil?
Dr. Evil.
Any more to hear it as Dr. Evil?
I use this money, I would buy sharks with freaking laser beams attached.
All I want is a well, I'd like to call it
See, boys are different. Me like softcore porn and Scotty don't. Anyway, I'm going to start by reading the blurb.
In the words of Dr. Evil.
Of course. On the heatherbeds of Loch McCock, sweet Peggy Sue entertains her spaceman lover, or as I like to call them, Astro Flyboys. In the Moscow gremlin, artificial fat man. He's a relation to Fat Bastard.
Excuse me, there's a Kremlin somewhere else.
Well, gremlin even.
Kremlin?
It says gremlin.
Oh, I thought you
Oh,
said
it's on the wing of my
Kremlin.
plane.
What's a Kremlin?
Pay attention.
Sorry.
I'm only going to say this once.
Are you sure you want me to say this word?
I'm gonna say this one.
We've already done outrageous French accents. Come on.
Yeah, well, we'll touch you some more.
Archfiend Fatman and his sexy sidekick, Rabinski, plot the brothalization of the universe.
Yeah, this is the blurb.
Yes.
And this is only the beginning of Fiona's super sizzling, ultra climactic, cosmic girl. I'm going to start reading from the book now.
By the way, Fiona Richmond was a porn star in the 70s. In case you hadn't guessed.
So you know the level of expertise.
Rabinski
Not in writing.
knew the look in his eye meant that the sap was rising, and they were up in for fun time.
And he's not talking
meant
about springtime
she had
festival
never-
in Germany.
She had never had a weightless fuck. And
Always had
and-
one.
Find that man a pound. Come on, get on with it, boy.
Not drunk enough.
Right. And looking forward immensely to learning his technique. It was as he lunged towards her and missed completely that he realized he had no freaking technique at all. Evidently, Fatty did manage to get to grips with the girl, more so than Austin Powers.
Was that going to be true that the most disappointing thing a man can ever experience is running into a woman in an erection and he actually breaks his nose first?
Oh. That's the problem with being an Asian hipster.
Yeah.
His arms encircled her waist and held her to him as he realized her silky chemise was from the waistband of her skin-tight trousers. The material felt like a hot air balloon. God, I'd forgotten how bad this is.
What was that bread commercial that they ripped
Lindus,
off in
Slimcia.
No,
Hot air balloon.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, that he ripped off in a matter of loaf and
I thought that was
Oh, the
Nimble.
bacon
Homage.
logo. Pinsky raised her arms and it drifted off over her head and away. Fatty undid the buttons of her fly and helped her down with her trousers. Leave your knickers on, he begged. The pervert fell into it with passion. That's not the only thing he fell into. He poked his fingers under the elastic of her knickers and pulled them until the crotch bit viciously into the tops of her legs. I could build a machine that would do that, but they won't fund me.
Time to stop.
We have time to stop.
Nobody wants to read more.
Nobody wants to hear more of Dr. Evil.
Carry on.
If we have £2 and a penny to stop.
I haven't even got to the really saucy bits yet.
How much do we have to carry on? £1 and any more?
Well, another 40p, but could we have Cupid's stunt from now on?
Kenny Everett, Cupid's stunt. Suddenly, oh, my clothes fell off!
I'm sorry, Chris, you're too young.
I think you should do it.
How much do we have to carry on?
It If it's Cupid's stunt, I'll give you a quid.
How much do we have?
I think we have a couple of quid.
I mean, no, I think the carry-on as Cupid stunts have it.
Yeah.
Well done, the bear. Oh,
Double taste.
Articulate this to I need.
well done, the bears.
You can't do it from behind cover.
You have to, you have to,
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Well, the glass is going to go everywhere.
And you have to
Don't sit on that
adjust
chair.
your
there'll
boobs.
be-
You have to adjust your boobs as well, a lot.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, you get full
Yeah,
legs.
that's, this is David actually
It's okay, I'm safe. For now.
If you ever saw you and Derek think that classic
Absolutely.
You can really rude
Take
bit
that
now.
chair away for safety's sake, because
It's not that I feel sorry for the chairs.
we want the full array, people. Full array.
We paid for the full array, haven't we? So I can, you know, I don't know. I'm going with whatever you crazy people pay me for.
Ooh.
Please apply to me later for all of your special needs. Reasonable rates.
Yes, thank you, Sailor
Emphasis
Moon.
on the special.
But you have to bring your own wetsuits, I'm afraid.
So I've got this some sort of high-pitched voice that I'm in the best possible
With
taste.
an American accent.
And suddenly, all my clothes fell off.
The basic Cupid stunt moves. Well. And
The legs cross.
the legs have to go really up.
Oh God!
And that's the best
Carrying
possible
on
taste.
from where I was.
Possible.
He poked his fingers in under the elastic and pulled them down until they bit into the crotch. He could see her pubic hair poking out. Keep working him.
You're not actually allowed to kill one of the people. That's the rules.
But accidental death is fine.
He could see her pubic hair poking out either side of her panties. He spun around and pulled the transparent material across her behind. Across her behind!
Across and behind what?
Don't make this more painful than it already is.
Would you like to know, Pat?
Oh, Christ.
He could see every contour of her bottom. The full the full moons were split down the
Excuse me, Chris. What was the spacing on the contour line? I'm going to take pity and put £2
Oh,
in.
no,
no, we want
finish,
some
at
more.
least finish that sentence I started with.
Oh, you haven't got
The full moons were split down the middle by her by her secretive crack.
Oh, my word.
We have £2 to stop.
Oh, good. Telling you that sick to keep me going.
How much money have you got on you?
It's £2 to stop.
I'm flat broke. If I spend it, I won't be eating or drinking for the rest of the day. I'm
That's
going
all
to need a
right.
hell of a lot of drink after that. Oh, my word.
How about let's carry on?
Well, And many of the committee and other people will tell you the tradition of turkey reading at Armadacon started, I believe, from EasterCon in '88 in Jersey, where this book, John Carster's Space Detective, Now, the newcomers amongst you may not know much about this book. It is about a curator of a botanical gardens in the future who, in his spare time, is a detective and has wondrous adventures. And it's full of perambulating plants.
It's predates Strippins.
They predate Strippins.
How much money have you got, Fiona? The only reason I ask is I'm going to pay £5 for you not to read it. That's £10 to not read it. Come on, cough up!
How much change do you want? That's okay.
Right, you just need another 9, at least.
Another pound to start. Another pound to start.
Yes, that.
Another pound to start.
You're going to start with that line, aren't you?
Which
That's his plants must grow. Pat, you can come up and have a look at this line.
If Pat hasn't heard this, he must have heard this last year.
not provided a pound to start.
Well, I haven't paid that.
Okay, so how much money do we have to start?
For those of you who are familiar with turkey reading, we're going to start with Plants Must Grow. Ooh.
Which is about the carbon
Eating diamond plants.
from the outer solar system.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
That one helpful.
Yeah, okay.
It starts with nothing, Oh, good. This is what we want.
Roz, how much have people paid to start so far?
About £4 so far.
Oh,
Come on!
More to come. 5, 6. I can see about, sorry.
Barry, Plants Must Grow.
Hey?
Plants Must Grow.
8, 9, 10, 11. I think
John Carstairs.
I think the starts have it.
Not what?
Well, I'm just going to put another £5 in to start.
No, another 2
Shut
pounds
up.
yeah.
Right, some crooks have broken into the botanical gardens and stolen a very special specimen, almost killing one of the guards on their way out. And the local dunce police inspector, think of a sort of space-age Lestrade, is going to be on the case soon. Vera Dorn is Carstairs' beautiful blue-stocking secretary.
You invariably do a high-pitched voice for.
Okay. Carstairs looked up. The roof span was a mass of splintered glass, through which red sunlight poured. Jagged shadows danced on the wall sashes and astragals overhead. Gone was the equalization of light which had filled the stove with a diffuse, mellow radiance. "Good Lord!" exclaimed Carstairs. "Are you badly burnt, Seabrook?" he asked. The guard shook his head. "Only my arms, sir. That asbestos shirt you gave me came in handy." "Better put some Karen oil on it," said Carstairs. 10 minutes later, a white-faced Carstairs was back in the filing room, an audio visiphone cupped in his bandaged right hand. Vera Dorn sat before her typewriter. Some things never change. Drumming out commas with one finger and staring at him levelly over the machine. He glared at her. "Stop pounding on that machine. In 10 seconds flat, I'll be talking to an inspector of police. I promise to talk loud so you won't miss a thing." "Oh, thank you." "Don't mention it. Inspector McGuire?" In the audio visiphone, an angry face had appeared amid opalescent flickerings. Inspector McGuire was a square-jawed, gimlet-eyed man, a little over 40, reflective grey in his hair, and a voice that sounded like an outraged horn. The image plate was foggy, Carstairs explained. It's getting clearer now. Would you like an English translation?
Yes, please.
Okay.
50p for an English translation.
Okay. It's plenty clear at this end, rapped Maguire. It's plenty clear at this end. Sorry. I can see him as clearly as I can see you. Him. Old man Trouble. He's standing right at your elbow. What is it this time, Mr. Curator? Has one of your walking plants taken a powder? I'm sorry, Inspector, but this is serious. Some very foolish crooks broke into the plant stove and stole our most valuable specimen.
Dun, dun, dun.
What would that be? I'm no mind reader. Excuse me.
At this junction, it's download content, so the paper.
They stole the carbon-eating diamond plant from your...
20 metres stop!
Too late.
Oh, well, never mind.
She just read the like.
No.
Oh, the other one.
Yes,
Oh, the other
you
line.
know the line.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'll read that line again and then I'll skip to Wobbly's on the
Missing Southern info from London Underground.
I can't find it.
What?
I can't find it. No,
Oh, the other one,
it's in one of the other stories. I'll stick it in.
I think you better read that line again since I went over it.
As the bishop said to the actress, choir boy, depending upon your particular...
Allegedly.
Allegedly. What would that be? I'm no mind reader.
Next panel, 10 minutes.
They stole the carbon-eating diamond plant from Uranus. Huh? What's that you mean to say? Though the crazy fools must have taken seriously the newspaper nonsense that's been decorating the front pages. Newspaper nonsense? I thought that plant was worth its weight in platinum. You mean it doesn't turn out diamonds? It does turn out blah 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 blah. A look of relief spread across Maguire's face. It does. Then all you've lost is a specimen.
The diamonds it makes are not pure diamonds.
They're basically industrial grade diamonds rather than proper diamonds.
So they're merely useful.
Yeah.
I'll have you know, Inspector, 8 men died extracting the diamond.
That's the line, yeah. Hey, has it been downgraded? It was 10 men.
Sorry.
2 were never found, we don't know.
I'll have you know, Inspector, that 10 men died extracting the diamond-eating plant from Uranus.
10 years and that still cracks me up.
You don't even have to read the bloody line.
I have read that line before.
A look of relief spread across Maguire's face. You can imagine mine. The rest of the story is pretty boring, so I will skip on.
Unless, of course, anybody wants to hear that line done in a particular silly voice.
So,
Which one do you recommend?
I could do it in Gollum.
yeah,
I'll play for that.
I'll put two quid in for Chris to do the 10 men died in Gollum. Okay?
That worthless fucking Rubens is dead. Extracting the carbon-eating diamond blood from Uranus. Got him! Got him!
I creeped somebody out doing that at the Two Towers last night, and then almost fell asleep.
What else in your anuses? Tell us, give it to me. I have my precious.
I wobblies in the moon. Right.
In the moon.
In the moon. For all those
Wobbling in the moon.
who have not guessed, this story is actually set on the moon.
Oh,
Really?
Now, I want you to remember this because it is important later on.
This a coming quiz, doesn't it?
John! John! Wake up! Vera Dawn screamed, pounding on the door of Costa's sleeping turret. The wobblies have broken loose! The curator of the Interplanetary Botanical Gardens John turned over, buried his head in his bedclothes. He sighed. John! Let me in! Open the door! The wobblies! Take it easy, Vera. The blasted things aren't flesh eaters. Oh, but darling, if we should lose them, our rare specimens walking around loose! Can you blame me for getting excited? It's all done in the best path.
My wobblies are broken loose.
Oh dear.
Let's skip forward. There's an ululating scream. John, she choked. That scream came from downstairs. You can't see anything from here. The wobblies wouldn't be visible in this glare. That's the advantage of using polarized sunglasses. The scream came again. It was audible now on the platform. A hideous, tormented wailing would seem to drift up from below. It's coming from Gleason's sleeping turret, Carstairs said. Oh, by the way, they're standing on the balcony of their chambers with the windows open.
on the moon.
On the moon.
They're not in a dome. They're in a sort of palatial pleasure palace.
Oh, with 7 black plastic
Bathrooms,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yes! I forget bad science for the capital. Yes, I'd just be myself. Anyway, it's coming from Gleason's sleeping turret, Carstairs said. He sleeps with his oxygen mask on and his windows flung wide. I just wanted to make sure. Then why are we standing here? Vera choked. Oh, he's dying. Get back inside, Carstairs rapped. You ought to have more sense than to come out here without a mask.
Sorry, 20p to have that wrapped.
Okay. Get back inside, Vera. Back inside, Vera, get back inside. Shut it up. You ought to have more sense than to come out here without a mask. John? John, are the wobblies attacking him? It couldn't be the wobblies. They're not carnivorous, and their nettles merely irritate the skin a little. Now get back before your lungs buckle into folds.
Because science, right?
Right, he then gets dressed.
This proves the Apollo program was funked.
And they're about to rush up to Gleason, down to Gleason's tower.
This turret is below.
Yes. But they both have balcony
Gravity
French windows. That's the word.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, yes.
I plead the sixth.
With almost simultaneous movements, he had thrown off the blankets, pushed the oxygen mask back over his forehead, and wrapped a dressing gown around his rangy belt.
Can we have
Why
20
did
feet
he
at that
need to
wrap?
push the mask up to wrap the dressing gown around?
Yes. Good question. We want the dressing
I
gown.
don't
Mask, gown.
No, that was
It was
a
all
wrap with a
hands.
W, not a wrap with an R. So,
Unless, of course, you're paying for it.
I'd say I'd pay for it, yeah.
They're going to cough up money.
Oh, all right. Okay, we only got one more line to go after this one anyway. Right. With almost simultaneous movements. Let's see. He threw off the blankets, pushed the oxygen mask up over his forehead. He wrapped the dressing gown round his rangy belt, around his rangy belt.
It's more calypso,
Take it easy, Vera, he cautioned. if you drop dead, you'll be sorry later on. Ladies and gentlemen, your